Here's the reality. Right now, everybody participating in the transaction of hiring does not trust each other.
No.
Did you know that the labor participation rate right now is at an all-time low? Mm-hmm. It's never been lower since the 1970s. People are opting out of the workforce. People are finding a new way to make money. We are so deeply rooted in the idea that we are going to shift the entire world from job search to job discovery.
Welcome to the podcast, where we introduce you to incredible humans who share their journeys with the mission to inspire you to harness your own inner tenacity to drive your life and career forward. And now, your host, Adam Posner.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast, where I bring you the best and the brightest from all the business, marketing, and personal growth to help you harness your inner tenacity and drive your career forward, folks. My guest today is an old friend, but maybe a new friend to some of you, Tracey Parsons. She's a longtime innovator at the intersection of talent, marketing, and technology. She's the co-founder of Flockity, a company redefining how influencer marketing and recruitment marketing come together to help brands attract talent in more authentic and engaging ways. Throughout her career, Tracey has consistently been ahead of the curve, embracing change, challenging conventional thinking, and helping organizations navigate the evolving world of work. Known as both a strategist and a change agent, she has spent years driving innovation across the talent ecosystem, exploring how storytelling, community, and digital influence shape the future of recruiting and employer branding. We're going to dive into her journey, unpack her story. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tracey Parsons to the podcast.
Thanks so much, Adam. It's great to be here.
Love having you here. Welcome to the show. So, Tracey, I know you, you know me, we've known each other for a bit here, but a lot of folks don't know you. And what I like to do on the show is really unpack my guest's origin story. And it's really important to understand where people come from. So if you don't mind me asking, I'm just curious, what did your parents do for a living?
Great question. I'm going to go back one more generation for you.
Grandparents.
Yeah, my grandparents immigrated to this country from Eastern Europe, and they were coal miners. They were coal miners in West Virginia and Pennsylvania. And one of my grandparents worked at the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, where my mom and dad ended up working. So long line of immigrant, blue collar coal miners, factory workers, and secretaries. So everything that I do is based on that experience. When you talk origin story, I am the granddaughter of immigrant coal miners, and I bring that to everything I do. There's this work that I've fallen into is meaningful to me because of that origin story.
Let's unpack that a little bit more. And I could assume you're referring to work ethic and putting in the work to get it done and not cutting corners. How do you embrace and honor their legacy through your work?
Actually, it's not through the work ethic.
Ooh. No, actually, I'm lazy as fuck. Sorry. No, obviously you're not.
No, it's not. That's obviously part of it. The reality is I saw what employers did to my family. I saw the treatment. I saw the transaction. I saw the stress and the strain of them bringing energy to, rural areas and putting tires on cars across the world. And they just came home with stress and anxiety and pain. My dad ended up dying from, diseases that were caused by working in a rubber factory.
Can't even imagine.
And right.
Before OSHA and all those regulations.
Exactly. And so what I took from that origin story is there has to be a better way to connect work to people. And I've always brought that idea of purpose to my work. That, look, my grandparents and my parents, their purpose wasn't this higher calling that a lot of us with careers have, right? That led to me having a higher calling, but their purpose was putting food on the table and being able to put food on the table and clothes on the backs of their children and having a decent life. And we lose sight of that a lot of times when we're talking about careers. Careers don't have to be this noble purpose. I've always talked about this. There's callings, right? There's careers, and then there's jobs. And sometimes the job is to put food on your table.
That's a very clear delineation. And I think that you and I, because of where and how we sit in this industry, a lot of folks like us, that's kind of we forget about that. And I also feel in my heart too, it's totally okay. Even in this space, it's okay to not love your job and not be super passionate.
God.
But if you're really good at it and you make a lot of money and it enables you to do things outside of work, like, I don't know, your family, and provide for them and enjoy life outside of work, that's a noble cause.
Yes.
It's okay.
Look, and anybody who tells you that you must love your job, they're trying to take advantage of you.
Somehow.
I'm going to be honest with you. Like that is manipulative.
Mhm.
And quite frankly, nobody shows up for free.
Nope.
And nobody is lucky to work somewhere.
You're
right?
lucky to work here.
You're lucky to work here. No.
that.
You're lucky to have them. And one of the things that I've been trying to break down in my 30-year career here, almost 30 years, is this is not a symbiosis, or this is not a war for talent. This should be a symbiosis. We oftentimes forget that we need them as much as they need us. Right. So when I'm talking to leaders in talent acquisition and they're giving me some sort of nonsense, like they'd be lucky to work here, I'm like, what do you mean?
I don't want to hear that.
Is this work going to do itself?
Well,
and they're like, well, no.
Not yet.
I'm like, you need, right. And this too shall pass, which is also
we'll put a pin in that one. Yep.
Yeah, put a pin in that one. But the reality is like companies cannot get the things that they're getting from a growth and scaling standpoint without the people doing the work. And that is just a matter of fact. And I've said this time and again, I have massive beef with whoever coined the phrase the war for talent.
And I completely agree with you. And I think that there's a layer on top of that, obviously, where the market changes, whether it's an employer-driven market,
sure,
an employee-driven market. And that's just more of a supply and demand issue, without even getting into the whole AI conversation, which I think is just overblown, overrated, and way ahead. I think, yes, it's changing how jobs look. It's changing how skills look. I think a lot of companies are using it as air cover just to raise their stock prices.
Yes.
You really think that Meta needs to lay off 8,000? You think just so Zuckerberg's stock could go up a little bit? That's BS. That's BS. Complete BS there. But we digress. But the other side of the house too is when you think about new employees, current people in the workforce, skills are evolving, and you need to evolve. And my whole thing when I talk to candidates, you need to make yourself invaluable. You need to future-proof yourself. So you need to be a student of the technology. It's not going anywhere. Typewriter came, computer replaced it. Now we're here. Technology's moving fast and faster than ever before. And you got to keep up with that.
Oh, I completely agree. But one of the things that I've been talking to a lot of people about lately is all of this like worry and hand wringing, like, oh my God, AI is going to take our jobs. We should be more worried about the workforce opting out.
Okay, let's dig into that. What do you mean?
So here's the reality. Job seeker trust has never been lower. They don't trust anything we do. And we don't trust them. Like this is right now, everybody participating in the transaction of hiring does not trust each other.
No, trust is eroded.
Trust is eroded. We are laying off people en masse. Did you know that the labor participation rate right now is at an all-time low? It's never been lower since the 1970s. People are opting out of the workforce. People are finding a new way to make money. And they're finding a new way, and they're finding new mindsets. Right? They're finding new places. They're finding new opportunities. And so when I'm talking to leaders in talent acquisition, I'm like, I get that you're really worried about this whole AI thing taking over. But the thing that your eye is off the ball of is that you've abused, you've laid off, you've ghosted, you've burned every bridge possible. And all the job seekers are doing are falling down click rabbit holes. They're getting their data stolen. They're getting spam texts from Angelina Jolie at Amazon. They're getting all these things, and they're just going to end up opting out. So trying to get them back into the workforce in 5 to 7 years is going to be the biggest lift of the lifetime.
Yep. And it's so fascinating. I was telling you that I had Leah Sullivan on yesterday, the founder of TaskRabbit, who pretty much created a marketplace of of the gig economy. And she was a major part of it with Lyft and Uber. TaskRabbit, like we're moving to a place, the W-2 construct from the government makes and keeps people stuck in this kind of bracket forced down by the government. But people are realizing too that you go 1099, you go gig economy. If you have the initiative, which I think is being pushed by this lack of trust to get out there and do your own thing, we're going to see so much more fractional work. And then the funny part about it is that a lot of companies are like, you know what? It maybe makes sense for us to hire fractional work because it's less overhead. It's a very weird kind of dynamic here. The other part too is like, sorry, go on.
Ahead.
I was just going to say how it's going to affect the healthcare part of it too. Like there's a lot
That's
of
what I was going to say.
There's
Mind reader.
Right. Like you're also trapped in by your benefits.
Yeah.
Right. And the whole healthcare system is a whole other podcast conversation too, how the healthcare industry is suppressing so many other options that are available for more affordable healthcare that's out there. Like there's a lot of communal healthcare services that are a fraction that I've tried.
Yeah. And if we ended up with universal healthcare, if we decoupled healthcare from work, if we decoupled healthcare from W-2 work, we're never bringing anybody back.
No. It's a big reason for me. I'm lucky. I'm under my wife's healthcare, which isn't the same thing, but like I don't have to worry about it. But a lot of people do have to worry about it.
They do have to worry about it. And this is why this is why I'm so squarely talking to people and really telling the story of you have to stop fighting with talent. You have to stop fighting with talent. You have to stop treating them poorly. You have to stop mass layoffs for your stock price. Like there is a long tail to this that people are not thinking about that I'm thinking about every day. Like this is the thing that keeps me up at night. Yeah.
Well, thank you for answering my last question. What keeps you up at night? But I want to go back to your career. It's interesting too. So how did the lineage and the granddaughter of hardworking industrial Americans go into this career in digital marketing, client services?
Yeah, that was fun. I was trained to be a journalist. I wanted to be a broadcast journalist until I found out in my first semester of college that I don't like being on camera.
It only took till now to be like, I'm looking.
I don't like being on camera. This is the most awkward hour of my life.
That's my fault. And I apologize.
No. I discovered this years ago. So I also minored in advertising and marketing and got out into the workforce. And one of my first jobs was working at TMP Worldwide, which at that point had just bought Monster.com. And my whole job was convincing people to stop advertising in the newspaper and start putting their jobs online.
On this thing called the internet.
That thing called the internet. So fun fact. The very first banner ad on the internet for recruiting was placed by me.
Hey, Adam here. I'm here to remind you to give to causes that make a real difference. You want to help, but you don't know where to start? Blood Cancer United is at the top of my list for obvious reasons. They are the global leader in helping patients and families with blood cancer, and your dollars fund research, patient support, and advocacy. Please give today using the link in the show notes or on the QR code on the screen. Thank you for supporting this mission. Much appreciated from the heart. Fun fact over here. But let me ask you this. Were you targeting TMP because of your
Nope.
mindset? It just happened to manifest in a way that you were moving into a career where you were going to affect people's careers and jobs and changing the workplace. But you didn't really know that back then. It was like, oh, this is a job. This is advertising. And then, so looking back at that, what were some of those early signals you saw in recruiting that needed to become more about storytelling and audience building and versus traditional job posting and applicants? Like, did you see it back then? Was any signals like any early on?
I mean, there were a lot of early signals, right? So one of the fun things is because there were so few online properties, we were posting jobs and stories in news groups. So like think AOL, think Netscape, think Digital Cities. We were posting employee and employer stories as well as jobs in news groups.
The original Glassdoor, right?
Right. And we would do the research on where the target audience is, what news groups they're reading, right? Like you tie it all back to how the world works today. But unfortunately, we keep getting farther and farther away from the audience and understanding what the audience, and it's just like vomiting out information.
So let's talk about that a little bit more. And before we get into talking about Flokety and what you're building there, I want to talk about behavioral change. And you've spoken about the shift from job search to job discovery. I talk about this a lot. So what does it actually mean? And why do you think so many companies are still haven't caught on to like how people really find jobs?
Well, the reality is that nothing in recruitment advertising has changed since the help wanted sign, right? So if you think about how
Right.
people got jobs in the 1600s and the 1500s, it was talking to somebody on the street, like it was referrals. It was, hey, there's a job at the mercantile. Do you want to go work at the mercantile?
Word of mouth.
Then we got a little bit farther away and we put a help wanted sign on the door. And then we got a little farther away and put it in the newspaper. And then the newspaper turned into the internet, and the internet turned into what it is, right? And so we have this deep-seated faith and belief in how we've always done it is how it should be done. And we do not think about the other side of the coin, which is so fascinating to me because recruiters are talking to candidates all the time. They know what candidate mindset is like, and somehow that's not getting filtered up the chain, right? So when you talk to candidates all the time, I've done countless interviews with candidates and working on employer brands and, silver medalist people who didn't get hired. And I'll always ask them, like, how did you discover the job? How did you hear about this? What were the sources that you were researching? Do you go to Glassdoor? Do you do these, like the things that you can learn from actually talking to the people who want your jobs is mind blowing. It should drive your strategy.
It's so fascinating. And I've talked to James Ellis about this all the time too, like this element of discovery. And and it's so, and I love that you brought up like kind of how we used to do it back in the day and how we even used to do it back in, medieval times too. And it go back to word of mouth. And what I'm seeing out there, I'm working with a group called Connected, and going back to old school networking, putting people in a room together and having conversations. Yeah. And I think that this big push to AI is actually doing a great job of pushing the inverse of it, of pushing everybody back to analog talking to each other. To networking. Together. I mean, talk about the conversation we had before. I won't mention the details, but it's like, hey, somebody's looking for this. Oh, wait a minute. I know somebody who could help there. Boom, connecting the dots. And I think we're trained, especially, listen, like I'm Gen X. I'm lucky because I am at the last generation of true analog and digital coming together. And I think that our generation, right, Tracey, like our generation has the ability to do that. But this generation, they're all digital and it's not innate to them and connection. And obviously COVID killed the shit out of human connection.
Did not help.
So many young folks didn't have that opportunity that we had when we were younger to work. And I'm not saying everyone needs to return to work and work in office. I'm going to get off that perch for a minute, but there is something to that. There's something to those skills of being able to communicate as a human and form relationships with other humans. We need to bring that back.
100%. Right. And I think it's interesting. I'm seeing, like, I have a Gen Z kid, and he is in university, and they spend a lot of time together. Right. And I think that probably because they were born from Gen X, they do value that analog life. Like they see that this is possible, and they almost romanticize it. And again, this is the same cohort that you see booing AI at commencement sessions right now. Like this, they're like, no, this is, and the fact that we're like looking at this next generation and thinking that they're going to be bought into the paradigm of work as it exists today is comical.
No way.
They're out. Like they're just like, you're killing our futures. You've killed our futures. And why would we want to participate in this?
It's scary. And that's going to kind of lead to the next part I want to get into, which is this whole idea around the creator economy. And I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where the younger generation is taking back control of their own careers, and they see it out there. They're like, I have an opportunity. I'm looking at these other people on the internet that are, listen, not everyone's going to have a zillion downloads and followers and be the Kim Kardashians of the world and Jake Pauls. No. But what they are seeing is people building their one-person brands and companies.
Micro communities.
Right? And we're seeing consumers discover products through these people. And it's creating, obviously, this huge world. So, like, it's obviously exploded, but most people still separate creators from recruiters, right? Like, when did you realize that these two worlds could actually come together?
So, I don't know if you're hearing anything in my backstory. I'm a little bit of an altruistic bitch. I am. I believe in the good of, I believe in the good of people. I believe, and you even touched on this, fundamentally, not all, but most people are helpers.
Most people.
Most people are
It's innate.
helpers. It is innate, right? You were just talking about this. Hey, I've got somebody looking for this. I can help. I know somebody. I can help. And when you think about creators, this is not just helping themselves. When they found a product, like when I find a product that I freaking love, I tell everybody about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I have work mittens
Okay.
because
What are work mittens?
my hands are always cold.
Hmm.
And I have, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 pairs of
They're
work
also
mittens.
called fingerless gloves.
Fingerless gloves, but they
But
are work
Is
mittens.
somebody marketing them and selling them to you as work mittens? Or do you just
No,
buy
but
fingerless gloves
no,
and call
but
them work mittens?
by the way,
You're making me
marketers
upset.
out there, work mittens. So,
Why don't you make Flockity work mittens?
oh, that's a great idea.
Boom.
We'll
See,
put
I'm a
it on the
helper.
list.
I'm a helper. I'd rock those at a conference for you.
Yes, I know.
Because my hands get cold in certain, like if I'm holding my mic cold. If I was holding the podcast mic at a conference and it's just like on my knuckles, like Flockity, like right here on that, that's cool. And I would do that for
We'd
you
have
guys.
the birds, just have the birds. But here's the thing. We are all helpers. The altruistic bitch in me thought, okay, why wouldn't somebody want to help their audience get jobs? And the dots were connected to me because we all do this. I've seen people inside our industry and outside of our industry say, hey, I saw this job. It's not for me, but it's for you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw that there are micro creators out there and nano creators out there talking about how to be a good nurse, how to be a good software developer, how to be a good salesperson, giving each other tips and tricks, I was like, this is just a natural extension of the creator economy. And the cool thing about what we're doing is I do like if somebody's going to show me a video for work mittens, I'm going to buy those. And that's costing me money. But if somebody's going to tell me about a new job that I'm not on the market for, but it's really interesting, that might make me money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's more, it's just feeds into my altruistic bitch moment.
So what was that aha moment for the birth of Flockity?
So yeah, I went to a conference in 2023 and it was the same 10 dudes. No offense, dudes, but it was the same 10 dudes talking about the same 10 things we've been talking about for 10 years.
Probably some of the same keynote speakers that we're still seeing at these conferences.
Yeah, hey, Adam.
Yeah.
It's the same 10 dudes talking about the same 10 things we've been talking about for 10 years.
Well, I can't wait to be that old dude.
I almost quit. I've had it. I've had it. This is, and to the point where I'm listening to these talks and like, email your candidates, text your candidates. I'm like, y'all, you're acting like there are no problems here.
There's no barriers here.
This is 2020. This is 2015 information that you're passing off in 2024.
And their slideshows still look like they're 2015.
They really do. Don't even get me started.
That's a whole other issue right now that I have with some of these events. I'm like, bro, do you even screening their slideshows before you put them up? Their eye charts boring the shit out of people.
Honest to God, we're going to do a separate podcast where we absolutely do
roast them,
where we read people's presentations. Like I would like to drag race read some presentations I've seen lately.
Biggest thing I ever learned, side note on that, single word, keep it simple, couple of words up there and talk it through. You might have one slide up there that has a very important, like, hey, I'm showing you this for a reason, just to show you a trend. But I'm not. You don't need to copy it down. And the worst is, sorry, Tracey, I'm going on a rant here, and let's do it.
Go.
When people, I'm gonna. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna pause here for a moment so you could take out your phones and take a picture of this, or you could scan the QR code and I'll send it to you afterwards. Get the F out of here. Yeah. Nope. Hard pass.
No, gross. Not doing it. I think Guy Kawasaki is who I design all of my presentations with. Fewer than 10 words, nothing smaller than 30-point type, and move on with your day.
Yeah. I did a rec
Anyway,
we digress.
Same 10 dudes, same 10 topics, last 10 years. And so I came from consumer marketing. I'm like, maybe I go back to consumer marketing. And then I started seeing all this information that the number one tactic for the CMO at that period of time was influencer marketing, because it's a top to bottom funnel filler, right? It's discovery, it's conversion, it's discovery, it's conversion. And I just kind of sat out with it for a minute and I'm reading all about this. And then I woke up bolt out of bed on May 14th, like a week ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I was like, influencer marketing for jobs. And I'm lucky enough to be partnered with a life partner, and he's a software developer. And I was like, hey, come have a beer with me.
And a good guy. We like
Oh,
him.
he's a gem. Before he deleted X, his bio said Mr. Tracey Parsons, which that's who he is. We love that guy. So I'm like, come have a beer with me. And I just said, I have a thread of an idea. It's not real. There's nothing there. Influencer marketing for jobs. And he was like, that has to be a thing. You got to be kidding me.
How is nobody
And
doing
I was
that
like,
already?
right. And he was like, and he came from outdoor, right? He came from outdoor e-commerce and retail. And he's like, we've been slapping Dakine stickers and sponsoring athletes for 20 years. Why isn't this not here? And I was like, it's not. Like, I actually did the research. And he's like, we're building this tomorrow. So we built it.
You built it. So for everyone out there,
Yeah.
let's give the quick elevator pitch.
Yeah. So Flokety is about unlocking new talent using internal and external influencers. So you have employees that are talking about what it's like to work at your company. Tie that content to jobs with Flokety. You have people on the internet talking about their jobs. Give them a job to share with their audience. It's as simple as job distribution. And we're trying to democratize job distribution, if you think about it, right? We want to put the money that's going to Indeed and LinkedIn in the hands of actual human people.
You know what? It's so fascinating too, and I say this all the time. I'm not the only one saying it too. We're all on our megaphone saying this. Your greatest ambassadors, your greatest recruiters are your current employees. And if you have a good, strong culture, people talk about it. People either talk about a shitty culture or a great culture and nothing in between. So if you have a company that's talking about a great culture, double down on that and empower your employees to be your greatest recruiters. I mean, you talk about products like Erin too, employee referrals, like. Good. Now, we have to also be careful of, like, you want to remove the like bias, but if you put that aside and you're at least putting it out to the general market and it's mass communication of people saying, hey, it's great to work at this company. We love working here. And you do it in the creative way of this creator economy right now. And then you're also able to monetize it.
Right. And then those stories tie back to our Linkity product, which Linkity is a proprietary link in bio that just automates job sharing for your internal employees. They never have to touch it.
Never make it.
They never have to touch it.
It's brilliant, and this is the next wave of employer branding. It's really about empowering it. I mean, listen, I recruit for a major influencer marketing agency. I have conversations 10 times a day with influencer marketers. It's so interesting too. If you think about like the history of marketing, we were doing marketing, and then they called it digital marketing. Then we brought it back up to marketing, and now we're calling it influencer marketing. We're really close to just having this be the method, the preferred method. Yes, at a home. Digital, all those things are all elements of it. But right now, influencer marketing works because it's conversational and it's an engaging way to bring people into it.
People believe people, Adam. Like that's the reality. Look, how quickly do you swipe an obvious ad?
I don't even want to talk about my Instagram algorithm, but I try to remove it as quickly as possible.
This thumb is in pain from how quickly I swipe. Yeah. But if somebody's going to tell me a story, if somebody's going to entertain me, I'm in. I want that story. I want that. It goes back to human interaction. I don't want to be advertised to. I want to connect. I want to get better. I want to get smarter.
I want to be better. So we got to talk about the Staples Baddie phenomenon because it perfectly captures this. Like, for anyone out there, what's the Staples Baddie?
Oh, Staples Baddie. Staples Baddie goes by Oblivion on TikTok. And this person just started recording videos inside Staples at their job, working at Staples, showing how we're printing personalized mugs and look at our pens and look at this signage, look at the cards we can create. And it absolutely took off. Like Oblivion was everywhere. Their name is Caden, and they amassed, I want to say 500,000 followers over the course of the last 6 to 8 months, maybe longer than that. But it really blew up. Now the comedy of this, the great part of this is that then you saw this hockey stick of Staples traffic because Staples made the very smart decision of doubling down on this, right? And if you go back 4 years, there was a young creator at Sherwin-Williams, and he was mixing paint, and he amassed a couple million TikTok followers, and they fired him. And so he went to work for a competitor and used that TikTok following.
Benjamin Moore's like, come over here.
Get over here, right? I don't know that's where they went, but
I'm just making that up.
Yeah, but the comedy of this is that creator for Sherwin-Williams had 2 million followers. Sherwin-Williams maybe had 20,000 followers. They couldn't get there. They couldn't get out of their own way. And then you fast forward to Staples, Baddie, Oblivion, and Caden, and they have 500,000 plus followers, and Staples has
God knows how many sales
followers.
and eyeballs that drove, right? I mean,
it just drove.
But isn't that the tension that many companies struggle with, like authenticity versus control, and that's why that company failed, is because of control, right? It's that tension of, oh, we want to empower our employees, but here we're going to give you the script, we're going to give you the guardrails, and we want you to. That doesn't work because that's not authentic. You trust them. You let them fly. Maybe a couple of small things like, I don't know, I'm just going to make this up, for example, like, hey, if you represent our company, just don't curse. Like, just whatever. Like something very like, hey, come on, guys. Like, don't drop, F-bombs when you're representing our company. But other than that, if you're feeling it from the heart, that shows that you trust. Number one, I trust somebody who works here to represent our brand well, because they're part of our family. And this is I hate using family. Sorry. They're part of the team. And this is our culture here. So let it fly and reap the rewards.
I'm going to go on my little soapbox here around the idea of control. Oh.
I'm going to mute and let you go.
We control nothing, not a single thing. We don't control if we wake up today. We don't control if somebody buys our product. We don't control what anybody says to us on the internet. We don't control where our jobs are distributed. We don't even know where anything is that we're doing right now. And we will wring our little employer brand hands like we have to control this. We have control. You control nothing. It is an illusion. And if you can just channel your inner Elsa from Frozen and let it go.
Let it go.
You can reap some major rewards. And I have this wonderful coach that I work with. And she said, let it go is a little bit more scary. And so she advocates for let it be. And I was like,
we're going to go Beatles. We're going to go Beatles.
We're going to go Beatles. Yeah. We're going to go old school Beatles. So instead of thinking that you have to control the message, remind yourself you control nothing. You do not control your Glassdoor reviews. You do not control who shares your jobs on the internet. Any human person can go on your career website right now, copy a link, and put it wherever they want. That is what the internet is. All you control is nothing.
Nothing. You don't control anything.
You can do is create conditions and just let it be.
Just let it. Just
let it be.
I'm going to clip that one up. That's going to be a good one. That's coming right back to you. Repackage it, put it out there, drive some Flockity links to it. So, like, why? I mean, listen, I feel that companies obviously have to have a. Well, I want to talk about Glassdoor for a second here. My little rant on Glassdoor. Employers out there, candidates are looking at Glassdoor. I field many questions about Glassdoor, and I keep using my canned response, and I hate doing it because a lot of it is true. My canned response is always like, listen, Glassdoor is a clearinghouse of disgruntled employees. That's literally for the last 11 years what I say. That's like my defense line. But there's a lot of truth in that. It's the same thing with bad restaurant reviews. And if you go in there, most people are more inclined to give a bad review than a good review. So if that's truth, you need to change that about your company and really listen to these reviews and take them seriously, because it's costing you in the candidate experience. You are losing candidates who take that shit seriously. Now, how do you utilize the other side of it? How do you go on the offense and showcase the good parts about working here? And that's about embracing internal candidate content creation to drive it. You have to be doing this.
Yes. You can ignore a narrative, or you can try to influence the narrative. That's the reality, right? And there's already a narrative about your brand. And look, here's the other thing. Work's hard. Work is hard. Jobs are hard.
It's called work for a reason.
It's right. They pay you to show up, right? They pay you to show up. They pay you to do the thing. The thing is hard and it's fine, right? And sometimes, but when I would encourage companies, just like you're saying, to go in there and find the nuggets of your reviews that are true and fix it. And at the same time, address it.
Hey, we see this is happening. Here's what we're going to do something about this shit.
Here's what we're going to do about it. Because as we're trying to rebuild trust, do you know what rebuilds trust? Accountability.
Ding.
Just tell them.
Love it. So
we hear you're being heard. You're being heard. So I had a parenting hack, and I have an amazing relationship with my kid. And people always ask me, like, how did you get there? Like, how did you get there? We apologize to each other in an accountable way, right? So, and I always tell people, I'm like, I did this. Here's what I learned from it. Here's what I'm changing about it. And here's what I'm going to be doing differently. It's a 4-step process. Now, I said this to my kid when he was probably 6 or 7 years old. And I said this to my kid, and my kid looked at me dead ass and he was like, Mom, that's the kind of stuff that advances the relationship.
Wow.
And
the shit that kids say, I can't even, if I told you my 8-year-old says, forget it.
Right. But then I started thinking, okay, how can I weave this into all of my life? Right. And it's not just being accountable to your family, it's being accountable to your team and to the people that you work with and to the people that you're trying to attract. When you mess up, and you inevitably will, that's the 4 steps.
Own it.
This is what I did. This is what I learned for it. This is how I'm going to change. And this is what I'm going to do differently. That's it.
Hi, I'm Leah Sullivan. Before TaskRabbit, before venture capital, before breaking precedent, I was just someone learning how to perform under pressure. I sat down with Adam on the podcast to talk about that journey, the early days of building TaskRabbit, scaling through chaos, the lessons I learned the hard way, and what I think the tech industry still gets wrong. Stay tuned in the podcast feed for my upcoming episode with Adam, and listen to Breaking Precedent wherever you get your podcasts.
We're going to clip that up, package it up there. Tracey, let's take out, I'm going to use, this is my sound effect of the day. We're going to take out Tracey's crystal ball here. We're going to fast forward 5 years. What do you think recruiting and employer branding will look like in a world where creators, communities, AI, and employee advocacy are all converging at the same time? What does your crystal ball, last time, what's that crystal ball showing you?
My crystal ball says that we are going to be having to be working, 600 times harder to get the attention of literally anyone. The bridges that we are burning now and have been burning since COVID are not going to light our way, right? And the bridges that we've burned are not going to light our way. They are going to make it very dark for us in 6 years' time. And I am not a doomsayer. I do see that all the choices that we have been making over the course of the last 5 years, including my current irritation point of candidate fraud, all of this is going to come home to roost in a way that is going to be very uncomfortable for employers. And it's not going to even be a candidate versus employer market, because there's not going to be candidates.
It's going to be avatars.
I don't know how we're going to get the attention of a human to do a really good job anymore.
This is a major one here, and this is a serious point too. So kind of in that kind of world too, just interested in your hot take too, as we move in this creator economy. Companies creating AI clone to do this kind of creator marketing. Are you pro or con on that? Where do you stand? I'm just curious. Like, what if they're like, it goes back to like this cartoon, like, hi, I'm Adam. I work for NHP Talent Group. Nope. Not going to fly because it's not authentic.
Nope.
We see through that shit.
It's not real. It's scripted. It's stupid. It
only works in porn. Sorry. I digress.
Yeah. The next generation of talent we need sniffs out AI in 37 seconds, and they hate it.
We're seeing that now. AI slop.
Yeah, we see it.
No one wants to see that shit.
We do get that question all the time, Adam. Oh, are you going to lean into AI creators? I was like, absolutely not. The entire business is betting on people.
And absolutely. And that's what I'm digging deep in. I just finished up. Tomorrow will be the last episode of 28 coming out of Vegas too. And that was obviously the topic. We got into fraud too. The fraud thing is ridiculous. And I think it's itself. We created this as an industry in the world of recruitment where we made it so hard to get interviews that candidates like, why shouldn't I use these tools? Why shouldn't I hit this button that's going to apply to 100 jobs for me today? Like we're creating this issue, and we're at a race to the bottom of bot versus bot, and we're going to have to listen. Jess Von Bank said it. We are building this Titanic. We know we're building this Titanic. We know it's going to hit this iceberg, but we're still pushing forward.
Yep. My issue with candidate fraud popped up. So there's mass apply, which does not mean fraud.
Nope.
Let's be very clear.
That's not fraud.
That's not fraud.
That's an unqualified application. Let's be careful with that potentially, yes.
Exactly. I saw somebody post on LinkedIn last week, which I spend too much time there, and I know that everybody hates it.
Not us.
Some days I hate it too, but
lately I hate it.
Some days I hate it. This post made me hate it for a day.
Go on.
They were like candidate fraud. This is I got an application from somebody. They were clearly not real. And so I dug in to the post, and it was like they didn't have a LinkedIn that had a profile picture, and they didn't have a Stack Overflow that was populated. I was like, is it possible this person was just doing their job
and not being a social media influencer?
Like why they're the only people in the world that care about LinkedIn are the people in our industry. And we've gotten to this point that we've convinced ourselves like that we're not clocking that we're the only ones that think that this is the holy grail. Everyone else outside of this recruiting industry, they don't go there. They don't put profile pictures up. They don't create content. They don't post about their job. This is legitimately an echo chamber of TA.
Tracey, I've had conversations with hiring managers that say, thanks for the profile, but thanks for the resume, but they don't have a LinkedIn profile. How could I tell? I'm like, look at their resume and have a conversation with them.
That's what a freaking resume is.
Why do you have to have a LinkedIn? Why do you have to have obviously the people selling you? And there is a little something to it if you're on the job market. Why shouldn't you have a robust profile?
Sure.
Use it as your billboard. It's a free billboard.
Yes. It's a free billboard.
It's a free billboard. That's how you have to look at it as a job seeker. Like, there's a free billboard. Why shouldn't I use this rented space for free to showcase my skills and experience if I'm on the job search? But it shouldn't be a qualifier that I have to have a robust LinkedIn profile for someone to consider me for a job. That's bullshit.
That if I don't have one, I'm fake. Come on.
I'm not real because I don't have a LinkedIn profile.
That's what I read in this post, and I was like, I immediately texted Lynn, and I was like, I hate it here.
I hate it here.
But then you'll go to people who are not in our industry, like my partner, like my CTO, and he'll open up his LinkedIn and he's more active on it. And his little red inbox circles is 3 digits. He's not reading any of this stuff. So the fact that we're the only ones that think this is the holy grail of existence is increasingly becoming a problem. It is burning more bridges, and it is creating this false narrative of not having a LinkedIn means you're fake. Stop it immediately.
Stop the insanity. So this really goes back to talking, and this, I love this because Brian Fink spoke about, I don't know if you dipped your head in when Brian was doing his thing at TA Week.
I did.
And Brian is like, he said it, go where your candidates are. Go on TikTok, go on Instagram, go on Twitch, Twatch, whatever you want to call it, right? Like go wherever they are and talk to them where they are. And then he gave the tactics of how to take old school recruiting tactics and use them there. And that's how you make it work. Go to where they are. Tracey,
go to where they are.
What's next for Flokety? What's in it? Give us some alpha here. Leave us with some alpha before we wrap this up.
Grow, scale, keep adding creators, keep adding customers, and really fundamentally change the way this whole thing works. We are so deeply rooted in the idea that we are going to shift the entire world from job search to job discovery. Gartner released something in Q1 that 11% of the workforce is actively looking, and 90% of the recruiting budget goes to those people. Stop. 89% of people are not looking. You know what they're doing? They're spending 90 minutes a day on TikTok. They're spending 60 minutes a day on Instagram. If you don't meet them where they are, you will lose. We are continuing to grow and scale the product suite. We're getting into UGC. it's just a really exciting time to be working with creators. And then we get these lovely emails from us like, hey, we just had dinner this week on Flockity. Thanks for that.
Absolutely love it. This is
Love
tremendous. Love what you're building over there. So Tracey, last but not least, first, thank you for sharing your origin story. And if you go back to how your grandparents defined success, and then you go back to how your parents defined success, and to where you are now, and think about that has changed. So Tracey Parsons, at this stage of your life and career, how do you define success?
Peace. I define success at being at peace. And I'm successful if I can create peace in my house, with my companies, with my creators, and my customers, right? I define success as being in that state of regulation. I'm winning every day if I'm feeling that I'm at peace.
Absolutely love it. This has been a great chat with a good friend. Everyone out there, I want you to connect with Tracey. You could find her on LinkedIn, obviously. But you could also find them on TikTok. We're going to link you up. You can find them on Insta too, right?
Yeah.
Check out Flokity.com, Flockity.com. We're going to link it up in the comments. Connect with Tracey on LinkedIn. Anywhere else that I miss? Any other locations to connect with you guys?
No, but if you're ever in LA, hit me up.
Hit her up. She'll show you all around town. Everyone out there, if this show meant something to you, leave a review rating. It goes a long way. Sharing means caring. You know where to find out more at thepodcast.com. I'm trying to pump up my YouTube. Go to youtube.com/thepodcast. Go to follow me on Instagram at NHP Talent. Remember, like, subscribe. It means the world to us. And one last thing, be good to yourself. Be better to others. And catch us next week for another great episode of the podcast. Take care, everybody.
Wisdom is forever, but for us, it's time to go. Thank you for joining us. Luckily, we'll be back with our next episode soon, jam-packed with more incredible humans. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and sharing. To join the conversation, search the podcast on LinkedIn. And to catch up on past episodes and more info, please visit www.thepodcast.com.